Next at 7, a final push for votes for Florida's 6th congressional seat as the race enters its final day. We hear from both candidates. Plus,
showers and storms moving across central Florida this hour. I'll show you when they're set to clear out. Coming up.
Tonight's primetime lineup on WESH 2, sponsored by Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute. Same-day care, signature orthopedic specialists. Visit orlandohealth.com/walk-in.
Because property taxes hurt seniors more than any single part of the tax package there is.
Is tax relief coming soon for Florida homeowners? How much money the governor says he wants to put back in your pockets? A historic launch is ready for launch here on Pad 39A. What the manned mission is set to accomplish.
Seminole County's only emergency homeless shelter is asking the county for hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional funding to stay afloat. Hear why the shelter says it's the best option the county has.
A mother of 3 gunned down overnight with her children nearby. Who police say is responsible?
WESH 2 News starts right now.
Storms have been building across central Florida this afternoon and into this evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stuart Moore.
And I'm Michelle Imparato. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi. Tony, we've already had one severe thunderstorm warning today. How are things now?
Well, the news is better up here in Volusia County. The worst of the storms has moved offshore, and the temperatures have dropped from near 90 back into the low 70s. But I still think we're going to have to watch Brevard County over the next half hour or so before the storms eventually move off the coast. That's what storms are doing right now near Daytona Beach. Was a very large hail core here, and that's why we had that severe thunderstorm warning. Things have kind of diminished in that department. Got a couple of reports of some hail reaching the ground up that way from our WESH 2 viewers, so we do thank you for that. There's Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach getting in on a little bit of rain. Now a new line of storms rapidly developing. We just had a collision between the East Coast sea breeze and this line of storms, and things appear to be pulsing on up now. Southeastern Seminole, as far as southern Volusia, northern Brevard, and eastern Orange County. So we'll watch this as it is headed very close to the Kennedy Space Center, where we have that launch tonight. A little bit later on, you can see a big push of wind now just west of Titusville. Farther to the south, more storms developing now, northeastern rural Osceola County. Big line of storms now pressing towards the turnpike here. These will likely move into Brevard County as we go deeper into the evening. I'll time them out for you guys all straight ahead.
Turning now to a developing story in New Smyrna Beach, where a police chase ended in a horrible crash.
This was a major crash with multiple cars involved. It all started around 1 o'clock this afternoon when someone called in about a reckless driver. Now, take a look at the video. A deputy tried to stop them, but the driver reportedly kept going, heading towards the causeway. Ultimately ended in this crash. A witness told us they saw a car come over the causeway and start to roll, hitting another car, sending it into oncoming traffic. We believe at least 5 cars were involved.
I actually thought it was like a movie. I could not even believe what I was seeing. The pieces of cars flying everywhere, and cars were scattering, trying to get out of the way. It was terrifying. I couldn't believe it was happening in our city.
2 people, including the driver, the sheriff's office says fled, were taken to the hospital, but we do not know the kind of injuries that they have at this time.
Now to the governor's proposal to cut property taxes. He wants to use billions of dollars to save millions of Floridians $1,000 apiece. WESH 2's Justin Schecker shows us the plan DeSantis hopes will help homeowners. The governor says the legislature is able to issue the property tax rebates because of the state's strong revenue position.
A Volusia County mother of 3 was murdered by her ex-husband. Samuel Vaya was arrested last week facing battery charges for showing up at his ex-wife's house. He bonded out, and this morning he allegedly returned and shot her. The sheriff says this is despite a court order to turn in weapons and have no contact with the victim. He allegedly led police on a chase where it ended with him shooting himself in the head. Just a few hours before, it is believed that he killed his ex-wife while her kids were home.
These situations are extremely, extremely dangerous, and no matter what we do, it's damn near impossible to stop somebody if they're hell-bent on killing their significant other.
The sheriff says his arrest last week he was ordered to turn over all of his weapons, but only turned in 3. A 2-year-old was also inside that house when this happened. DCF was notified. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, call someone. Please do not wait. Harbor House has a 24-hour confidential hotline. That number is 407-886-2856. You can also call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 99-SAFE. You can call either number at any time of day.
This morning in Tavares, a couple accused of torturing a little boy to death did not show up in court. Police in Tavares say 10-year-old Xavier Williams was brutally tortured by his mother and her boyfriend. Xavier's aunt, Camille Williams, told us she doesn't think she'll ever get answers from Kimberly Mills or Andre Walker. But Camille came to the courtroom today when they were both scheduled to be arraigned on criminal charges for allegedly brutally abusing her nephew and his younger brother at their home in Tavares.
For her, I really don't know how she did that, knowing that, you know, you were the one that was supposed to protect your child.
Camille is the sister of Xavier's father, who lives in Connecticut. He told us that Mills cut him off from his children 3 weeks before she and Walker dropped Xavier off at the hospital unconscious. The two are in jail right now with no bond. Both filed written pleas of not guilty, so their court appearances today were canceled.
We are counting down to tonight's historic launch of Fram 2. Launch window opens at 9:46. These 4 astronauts will be on the first human spaceflight to orbit the Earth's polar regions. They will spend 3 to 5 days orbiting the North and South Poles, conducting more than 20 research studies. Sunday, they finished a full rehearsal of launch day activities and completed a static fire test for the Falcon 9 rocket. Everything is a go. Launch is set for 9:46 tonight, weather permitting. WESH News' Megan Moriarty and Tony Atkins will have live team coverage for us out along the coast, and we'll bring it to you live on WESH 2 and on WESH.com. And earlier this afternoon, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket. On board were 28 Starlink satellites. Seminole County's only emergency shelter is saying it may need up to $300,000 from the county to keep its doors open for the rest of the year.
And this comes as cities and counties across Florida work to find solutions after a state law banned people from sleeping on public property. WESH 2's David Jones explains. The county commission says the item will next be discussed at budget work sessions this summer. Tomorrow, the city of Kissimmee swears in its first African-American police chief. Charles Broadway will take over after more than a decade as chief of Claremont Police. The Kissimmee Police Department was upended last year with the resignation of Chief Betty Holland in October after allegations surfaced that she and other officers covered up cases of improper use of force. Last month, Governor Ron DeSantis appointed Broadway to the State Immigration Enforcement Council. He will be sworn in as chief tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Election supervisors are seeing incredible turnout for this special election for a local congressional seat. I'm WESH 2 News political reporter Greg Fox. We'll talk with voters about what's driving them.
And right now, storms are moving off the coast of Volusia County, but they're going to be approaching central and northern Brevard County. I'll let you know if they'll be out of town before tonight's launch. All straight ahead.
Covering Central Florida, so you never miss a moment of what's happening. Every night at 10, Michelle Imparato, Jesse Pagan, and First Warning Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi. WESH 2 News at 10 on CW18. Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News is there when news breaks.
There is a large police presence right now in Winter Park. Just in the last 5 minutes or so, got some key information.
For every development.
A new picture. This one was given to WESH 2 by a survivor's advocate. There was a refrigerator in front of the door.
Blocking that door.
For the biggest sports moments.
The Gators, for the 6th time in program history, are headed back to the Final Four.
I feel like I had to wake up from a dream, you know?
We try to put Florida basketball back on the map.
For continuing coverage of our biggest stories, trust WESH 2 News.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Advent Health.
Voters in half a dozen local counties decide tomorrow who will head to the nation's capital to serve in Congress.
Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Wheel are the two major party candidates. And as WESH 2's News political reporter Greg Fox explains, they are both getting plenty of help from the national parties in this key race. Remember, it is too late for you to mail your ballot to election headquarters. It has to get there by 7 o'clock tomorrow night. That means you'll have to drop off your ballot at your local supervisor of elections office. And tomorrow, voters in Brevard County will also pick Senator Randy Fine's replacement. The Republican candidates for the special primary election are Marcy Atkins, Mark Leitner, Debbie Mayfield, and Tim Thomas. The winner will go against Democratic candidate Vance Aaron in the general election in June. There's also a special primary in District 32, Debbie Mayfield's old seat. The Republicans in that election are Terry Cronin, Brian Hodgers, and Bob White. You can, of course, trust WESH 2 to help you keep track of all the current and upcoming elections. Head over to WESH.com and click on the Commitment tab.
All right, let's turn our attention back to the forecast, Tony. We have another severe thunderstorm warning right now, and some people are seeing hail.
Second time today. The first cell was up in Volusia County, but Cam and I have been tracking this thunderstorm there in Brevard County. That's your new area right there. So Scottsmore, Titusville, again, this is what we call a high impact severe thunderstorm warning, meaning that it's going to impact a lot of people. A lot of people live in this area up and down I-95. We've got, of course, the rush hour, US 1 right there. And this is working off towards the east, of course, Kennedy Space Center just to the east. But the thing that we're watching here is the hail core. There's not going to be a whole lot of towns and cities. Of course, we're almost at the coast here. But just like earlier, we had hail about 1.2, 1.1 to the north. This does appear to be coming down a little bit. But the guideline, the rule today has been about 1 inch. Once we hit that 1 inch, we're getting these severe thunderstorm warnings today. This will continue to build over the river there and then eventually work right back out to sea. Live look in now at the temperatures here. Rain cooled 71 up there in DeLand. We widened out the picture here. Long line of showers and thunderstorms here is weakening on approach to the west coast. We'll watch it. Not too concerned about that. I think what we really have to watch here, of course, is the ongoing thunderstorms. This will be offshore fairly quickly. Another nice line of strong thunderstorms across southern Osceola. We'll have to watch that for Melbourne and Palm Bay a little bit later on. Port Orange, weather's improving for you. Of course, we just talked about this warning that's in effect here until the top of the hour. You can see that hail core is indeed weakening. It's right over Mims. A few of you might be getting some dings there on the roof and cars. If you've got any photos there, please send our way. But you can see there's no twisting and turning with that collision there. It's more of just a big push of wind. This go around right over Mims. In fact, with the new image that just came in, we were pinging about 30 to 35 miles an hour, Cam and I. Again, right here, southeastern Orange County, developing line of showers and thunderstorms. This is going to build all across I-95 as we get deeper into the evening. So Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, Melbourne, you're going to get in on that action. And then a new line right here will extend from Melbourne to Palm Bay, Grant, Valcaria, Mico, FIT. The campus over there is also going to get hit with some of that rain. Now look at the totals today. This news, folks. Daytona Beach, 2¼ plus inches of rain. Paisley, Eustis, and Tavares, all doing very, very well in the rainfall department today. 8:30, 9 o'clock, the storms coming out of Osceola into Brevard will begin to eventually work off between about 9 and 9:30. And as we take a look at the launch forecast, we have a big window here. So that's the good news. And these storms should be offshore here within about the next half hour to 45 minutes. So I don't think the timing tonight is going to parlay this as an issue. I think the storms will be offshore and will be in good shape. Let's take a look now at Futurecast for tomorrow morning. There may be a few showers coming in off of the Gulf. But as we head into the afternoon, we may see a similar setup yet again where we get the west breeze more quickly advancing eastward and colliding with the east coast sea breeze, as you can see right there with some late day evening showers and storms. In fact, this would favor I-4 towards I-95 come Tuesday afternoon. Coverage is going to be isolated, but where it does go, just like today, we could pick up 1, 2, maybe even 3 inches of rain. Plenty of heat tomorrow, just like today, upper 80s to near the 90-degree mark. You take a look at back towards the coast. Notice the winds, west-southwest. We stay warm at the beaches. Had that been east-southeast or east, it would have been a lot cooler. Sanford tomorrow, here in the upper 80s, a few isolated late afternoon, mid-evening thunder showers. But look at the pattern now. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Notice the arrows. South-southeast becoming more south-southwesterly. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we could be looking at temperatures in Orlando for the first time getting to that 90-plus degree range. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some isolated rain amounts around. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we crank up the heat and begin to really warm things up. Feels like temperatures by Sunday afternoon could be in that 93 to 98 degree range. Way too early for that.
Many of us remember learning how to write in cursive in school. Well, today, most students argue that it's obsolete, but lawmakers want to bring it back. Studies show cursive started fading in the 1990s, with only 15% of students using it on their SATs in 2005. Students in Florida do learn how to write in cursive. However, they are not being tested on it. A proposal in Tallahassee calls for students to prove that they can write, read, and comprehend it, though many students are debating whether it's necessary, and many of us adults rarely still use it.
I don't think it's really needed. I think students could go to much better things. Honestly, if you're going to use a modern keyboard, there's a way to input cursive.
All these font types, yeah, you can change your font type to cursive.
The Florida House passed the proposed requirement unanimously. Now it still has to pass the Senate and get signed into law by the governor. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
And welcome back, everybody. Just want to give a quick update to our friends here in northern Brevard County about the severe thunderstorm warning. Now over the river, there should be offshore here within the next half hour. We're going to have to watch to see if there's any back building there southwest of Titusville. Hail core just came through Mims. It is over the Kennedy Space Center right now, so we'll continue to monitor that. Big push of wind here. Looking at winds right now in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range. While that's going on, more storms developing here off towards the south and west. We'll have to watch this for impacts on southern Brevard County, guys, over the next hour.
Today is National Crayon Day.
No matter your age, you have probably used a crayon to write or draw. Artists around the world have used wax and chalk-based crayons for centuries. Edwin Benny created the brightly colored crayons most people are familiar with today back in 1903. His company developed the Crayola division for children for the first time.
So now here are some crayon facts for you. Crayola produces nearly 3 billion crayons every single year. The average child goes through 730 of them by age 10.
I think that could be an underestimated number.
Right?
Yeah, because they can lose a 64 box that fast.
Yeah.
The smell of a crayon is one of the top 20 most recognized in the world, and leftover crayons are often called leftovas.
I have never heard that, but I can see why.
Crayolas?
My biggest gripe is I draw really hard and I would break every single one of them.
So you went through way more than 7.
A lot of crayons, yeah.
That does it for now. Join us again at 10 at CW 18. And of course, the launch is at 9:46 right here on WESH 2.
And the news is always on WESH.com and the free WESH 2 News mobile app. Have a wonderful night.